Join me as we talk all things true crime.
Made contact and shattered.
The missing 4-year-old. The parents have called in and advised that the mother had went through a wall, came home, now they can't find her.
Chad, where are Lori's kids? They've been missing for 4 months. You have nothing to say?
4 were stabbed multiple times and were likely asleep during the attack. Some had defensive wounds.
Most of them had just like one that was the lethal stab wound.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave. Once I told a lie, and I told my family, I had to keep lying.
What's your, is it deemed?
We haven't cleared anybody.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here for another ATS News. Might want to get the microphone a little closer. Thanks for being here, everybody. Let me know if the audio is good. So last time we spoke was last evening, and things were kind of calm as far as the search and everything going on down near Arizona and Nancy Guthrie's area. She's still missing. There are no arrests made. Last night was a little wild. We went live for almost 2 hours, and it was the calm before the storm, because as soon as we weren't live around midnight, I would say, is when they got another tip of where the SWAT team was and the road was blocked off. And we found out that they detained multiple people. And we thought, okay, this is going to be another break in the case. Surely this isn't going to be just a SWAT raid for no reason. I want to share my screen. Sorry about that. With this little update. So besides there being no arrests and no location of where Nancy is, we also got this little update that he spoke to the New York Times. And this, of course, is the sheriff. And he basically said, maybe it's an hour from now. He said, maybe it's weeks or months or years from now, but we won't quit. We're going to find Nancy. We're going to find this guy. So everyone's sort of freaking out because they're like, years from now? Like, is he trying to let us know, like, don't have too high of expectations? I feel literally like this case has turned into like this.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
It's just turned into more than a circus. It's beyond circus level, in my opinion. Like, I think after everything kind of panned, and the other thing that the sheriff said as well to media today is that the raid last night had nothing to do with like their department. They were following the feds on it, their lead on it. And here's the thing, like, okay, yes, we want to know that there's movement in the case. People are being detained and questioned. Let me pull up the live stream right now of JLR just so that we have that going. There's not much going on, but the sun is going down, and he's followed up on some interesting things today already. So let me just refresh this, make sure that we don't have an update right this second from him, because of course, boots on the ground. Oh,
if anything pops off, definitely tag me up on
X at JLR Investigates and reach out to me, and we'll be fresh tomorrow. I'll be out here first light for sure. We'll use this as a staging ground. Of
You
course,
might be signing off, but that's okay.
Pops off,
other things to discuss.
Well, we'll share, but it's just not. There's nothing going on. So I don't think they're going to do an any raid out here tonight or whatever like that. You got the sheriff here perched out as usual. Another day though, and it sucks because I've spoken to so many people, and they generally want this case solved. They generally, there is a lot of mixed opinions about Nancy. Some feel like she's alive, some feel like she isn't. Never want to, give up hope. Somebody did something here, and this is insane. I mean, we're all hooked. We all want to know. We will continue to follow. We will continue to wherever they take us, we go. So on this channel, we'll go to the locations, whatever pops up next, or whatever. If they reveal another location, or whatever,
I agree,
we'll
Shay. It's absolutely
check it out in real time, boots on the ground. All right. With that being said, appreciate everyone's support. We are Nancy's Army out front of her home. Power prayer. And also pray for all the law enforcement, including the Pima County Sheriff, Nanos. All his deputies, I could say that his deputies have acted professional out here, kind and courteous deputies. They're all of them been super chill out here. They don't bother anyone. If anyone has a question for the deputies, they come out. They're courteous. If they're standing at the road, they say hello. They're not on any power trip or anything. Praying for the FBI, law enforcement, HSI, partnering agencies, everyone. Hopefully everyone can work together. The power of working together. Power working together can make a huge difference. Hopefully there's no egos and people on both sides withholding information. You want to just work together to get this solved. The whole world is watching. The whole world is watching this case. And it will get solved. Whoever did this will be caught. I don't want to think months and years, like the sheriff said. I think there'll be a big break soon. Somebody will slip. Somebody knows who the perp is. Somebody will share the rewards. $100K. It's $100,000. $100,000. It's a lot of money. You can pay your groceries for a year. It could put your kids in college and school. You could do a lot with $100,000. Turn the person in. $100K. Maybe it goes up, the reward. Do it now. Get $100,000. You'll be like the hero out there for turning her in, or turning the person that did this to her in. Or finding her, any information on her. That's safe return of her too. JLR Investigates. All right, we cover breaking news, true crime, 24/7. Whoa! Just stepped in front of the media guy. Get out of the way. That's what he said. He said, get out of the way. We cover true crime, boots on the ground, 24/7, 365. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you, everyone that contributed. If I did not acknowledge you, I truly apologize, and I'm truly grateful for your contribution. This is kind of like the go-to channel when it comes to this case, because we're here and we're following what's going on as it develops and everything like that. So very grateful for and appreciate every one of you out there. God bless. Praying for Nancy, praying for Nancy's family, praying for the entire Tucson community. All right, JLR Investigates. We'll talk soon. You all have a good evening. Saturday night. Be back tomorrow. For sure, if anything else breaks, I'll be back. We'll talk soon.
So it's very possible that if something develops, I will keep my phone nearby, following him on X and of course his YouTube. He'll go live again. What I want to share now is, for one, some highlights of today. Just kind of have a discussion. Who watched JLR today? I think his stream went for, I don't know, all day pretty much. I've been watching all day, every day, of course, when I'm near the laptop and I'm able to catch the updates. Nothing was updating on X or in the media besides the sheriff talking to the New York Times, basically saying it might take weeks, it might take months, it might take years. So earlier, as you can see, the sun was out. Well, first off, I wanted to play some audio that I have on my phone of JLR approaching a dog, and it's so hilarious to me. We were kind of talking yesterday about how he talks to animals and how much we get a kick out of it. So I wanted to play that today. You watched a little today, Ruth Ann, and hello, Holly, and everyone else, everyone who joined. Good to see you. So yeah, pretty much we haven't heard anything about the people who were detained. Right, just do the right thing. And wouldn't it be great? They were saying earlier when he was talking to some other streamers that were down in the scene, and he spoke with Andy, I believe his name, from Popcorn Planet. So that was interesting when they met up live. He went to Walmart and purchased the backpack. Did you guys see the backpack visit at Walmart and that purchase? He went to one of the closest Walmarts to Nancy's. Hold on, listen to him with the dog.
Morning. Hey, what kind of dog is that?
He is a Bernedoodle.
Can I show him on my camera here? Oh my goodness. That's a beautiful dog. What's your dog's name?
His name is Max.
Max. And it's what kind of dog?
Bernedoodle. He's a Bernese mountain dog and a poodle.
Bernese mountain dog and a poodle. Hello. Is he friendly?
Very.
Hello. Hello. I love dogs. He's a companion, huh?
He's a good guy.
Hello.
Where are you from?
I just love it so much. It cracks me up. But he went to Walmart and okay, so you didn't see, he decided that he was going to purchase the backpack. Now we showed a picture of that. You guys have seen that floating around. Even Kash Patel on his X Twitter account, he shared it. Let's see if I can just get the image to pull it up. And so he's like, you know what? Let me just go to the Walmart that's closest to Nancy's house and let's see if I can find the backpack that the perpetrator has in the camera footage from Nancy's, the Nest footage. He finds it. Come to find out, it's not just on a shelf in the aisle with the backpack. It's actually behind one of those glass locked areas, like sort of how they do if you guys ever buy formula. So he purchased it and, you know, it was just like interesting. He's like, okay, so what was interesting about it is when it's locked behind that glass sliding door, the person at Walmart has to use their phone, I believe he used. And so it's digital, the unlocking, and it's logged basically every time that they open it. So everyone was kind of like wondering, so could they go to the local Walmarts, like start there at least if it was purchased in person and go and see like who unlocked that area that has them behind the sliding glass door. And there should be some sort of digital trail to show you each time that it was unlocked. Then they will pull up, if they have like the camera footage, like the date and time of that, so they compare it with the CCTV footage. So it was kind of interesting. It was only like $9.99 before tax. So that was an interesting thing to see because we knew what the backpack looked like because FBI shared it and we can see it in the footage. And actually, let's just go through the footage again. But to see the fact that if it was at a Walmart that had it locked behind the glass sliding door, we know now that there is a way that something is tracked, like some way, shape, or form. It shows the history of whoever would have opened that pretty much. Or say they don't go that route, they can maybe decide, well, this would take so much time, but let's just sit in front of that camera near that area of the store and watch how many times we've opened this up. And every time that it's opened up, we see action there, especially for a backpack. Like, let's focus and hone in on it and log it. Hi, Roxanne. Good to see you. So I don't know. That's if it was purchased in person. We don't know for sure. Maybe it was purchased online. It was just something interesting to see. I would love to know if the other Walmarts, because of course there's like 4 or 5 around Nancy's area, also had that same backpack behind the glass door as well. We don't need the dramatic music, but this kind of a refresh. And then I want to play JLR. Earlier today, he was streaming with Popcorn Planet's Andy, and CNN approached them and they were like, yeah, we want to do a segment about your guys' work here while you're, you know, boots on the ground and small journalists and YouTubers. And JLR was like, I'll do an interview, but not with CNN. But I think Andy from Popcorn Planet did. So that'll be interesting to see that air on CNN. Obviously, there's not much else going on in the case. So I think they're going to hopefully run that maybe tonight. Be interesting to see. But JLR was, of course, vlogging while that interview was taking place. So we can watch it on JLR's channel and kind of turn up the volume and watch it from that point of view. So that was also something interesting that took place today, too. What if they just put it in the security case since it hit the news and it's everywhere? People might have also tried stealing them or whatever. That's a good point. The worker who unlocked it had kind of a good interview with JLR as well. So if you didn't see it today, you could watch him. I mean, it's obviously hours long, the stream, but you'll see him pull up to the Walmart and get out of his car and walk in, etc. And you can hear the employee basically say that they do keep, seems like it's been a constant thing that they did with that brand and some other outdoor sporty type stuff that is always locked behind there. And the sales associate also looked at the jacket, which apparently the jacket, the holster, the mask, and the backpack are all Walmart. And he recognized the jacket and said it was on clearance a little while ago, but they didn't have it in stock. So that was just interesting to kind of hear what they had to say. Now, this footage, you guys saw that they shared this. Of course, TMZ came out with it, so take from it what you will. But I think that 8 days, so they're looking for footage. They stated, and we talked about it yesterday, from like January. Sorry. They are looking at footage from January 2nd to February 2nd. So this footage was going around the other day, and it's saying that this was Nancy's neighbor's Ring camera footage. And I think that this is significant. People were like saying like, oh, this has nothing to do with it because it's 8 days prior. Like, they were saying that they wanted footage for basically a month prior to Nancy being missing. So I felt like that was significant. Another thing that was kind of shared today on JLR's channel is he was talking to some of the other neighbors, and the neighbors basically were saying where they're at, it's kind of like a 4-block type setup. And let me just share my screen. Cops were going to every single neighbor and basically like asking for like footage, and if they had seen anything. So I don't know. I said yesterday when they raised the reward money to $100,000, I was like, I feel like they have absolutely no direction. Do you guys feel like they have a direction in this case? And again, all opinions are welcome. All theories are welcome. Everything, in my opinion, is on the table, like which is Andy from Popcorn Planet was kind of saying it before this part that is on my screen. Like when they met up, it was like a good spot also to kind of pick up and watch in case you guys missed it. But here, is after they were kind of having a discussion on what they thought was going on in this case. And Andy was like saying, like, I thought it would just be simple, but now I'm thinking more on the conspiracy end of things. And I'm like I said, I think everything's on the table. Anything. It could be something like the son-in-law, like Ashley Banfield stated on what, day 3. Hi, Teacup. Hi, Brooks. Good to see you guys. Coffee and Skeleton. So I think it could be anywhere. I know. I can't believe we're 2 weeks out and nothing. I fear the worst. At this point, I'm very nervous. Some of the lingering questions that remain before I hit play, I'm going to show you guys the CNN part where Popcorn Planet is being interviewed, and that was aired on JLR's stream. So I thought that was interesting. So yeah, some key unanswered questions right now. Who is the masked individual in the surveillance footage? I mean, that's obvious question we all have. How did the DNA and the gloves get on or near the property? Are the ransom notes connected to the disappearance? Because that's another thing that people have been sort of all over the place on. You know, why in the first place did it take so long to even hear about the ransom? You would think that that would happen straight away. Like, leave a note in the house for like the ransom. Like, it didn't need to come out through TMZ and through the small media channel. I forgot. It was like a local channel who also got it at the same time. Like, it just seems very like, is this a red herring? Is this like an opportunist? We don't know. Where is Nancy now? Obviously, that's our main question. So let's rewatch this from earlier, a couple hours ago. This is after that girl in the green talking to JLR there in the red is CNN reporter, I believe. I just thought this part was interesting. And then, of course, there's Andy from Popcorn Planet.
Hello, how you doing?
Then we'll go through some other highlights. And now, obviously, we check in updates while we watch this. If you haven't hit that like button, if you could do so, it'd be greatly appreciated as well.
Yo, am I still here? I don't know what happened. The stream like got killed. Are you guys still here? Can you see me? Stream is down. Say yes if you can see me. Yes, 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 yes. We're back. Oh my God. So, yeah, we lost a lot of viewers, but we're winding down anyway. Yes, 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 yes. So CNN is really trying to interview me, man. What do you think? Between all of us, what should we do? Should we speak to CNN? CNN wants to do a whole thing about streaming, being out here. They want to do a whole interview. You think I should? Yeah, no, yeah, no, 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 no. Told them no at this time, but they gave me the card. No, yeah, no. They want to know that because they were like, just like fascinated how you could be out here doing this. People are like, they lie. No. Hey, Mega Tisser. Are they paying you? No. CNN. People are like, no, don't do it. Some people are saying, yeah. No, they literally gave me a card. CNN gave me a card. CNN, the most trusted name in news. We're like, it's a trap. Now, the journalist is pretty cool. I've been speaking to her for a week now. I don't think it would be a hit piece. I said my mind's not in it right now. Not right now. No, thank you. Oh, everyone jumped back into the stream. We had like a lot. Everyone was like, "Where did JLR go?" Yeah, we buffered. I don't know what happened there, but it is winding down here.
That would be cool.
I think they're doing their reports.
Some pizzerias here do that for Valentine's Day.
Dun, dun, dun. Back at it. Can you see what's going on out here?
This is Nancy's home, of course.
Here, we'll go listen to Popcorn Planet talking to CNN.
Yeah, this is the part that I want to share with you guys. This is the interview with CNN, full one, kind of behind the scenes.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of JLR's been doing this. A lot of other streamers have been out. So just inspired by them because they're all night long here streaming. A lot of times I'm streaming late night from at least my home, but for these people to be here in this camp, as you guys can't see it all, like it's an intense setup, and they're here nonstop, 24/7 streaming the fans. I think that's really important because we want transparency. We want to make sure no stone's been left unturned. And a lot of these channels, I think, are doing a really good job at just keeping their boots on the ground to keep the tension in the case, try to find any loose ends, and I think it's really good.
The sheriff has talked about not only the media kind of descending on the town, but also these true crime streamers. What is your take on that? Why do you think a case like this draws so many people who want to stream this almost 24/7?
Yeah, I mean, look, there are some streamers that aren't doing a great job, to be honest. There's a lot of people that jump on it late. You got to make sure you're with a reputable, good person who's being, who's been on it, does it professionally, tells you if you're speculating. Like, you want to make sure you find the right streamer, but there's a lot of really good people, and I think the audience can figure that out. And yeah, they're out there doing a lot of work. They're invested in it fully because they want justice.
Yeah, let's talk about that because working with CNN, we have to have a certain fact-checking process with them. Before we put anything out there, it has to be verified. Not the same standards for streamers. Do you feel like some are putting out dangerous, inaccurate information, or how do you see that kind of course correction to make sure that it is?
Before Andy even answers this question, so she's basically asking how he feels about there possibly being some streamers who put out dangerous, inaccurate information. Doesn't the mainstream media do that on a daily basis?
I mean, there's always bad apples. I mean, a lot of the mainstream press has lied a lot as well. So it's like, I think the audience is smart now to know it's not just the network, it's the person behind it. Do I trust this person? Are they being transparent with us? Do they have a good track record? And I think, that's where a lot of these streamers are getting more successful. Yes, there's always a bad streamer once in a while or somebody who does something maybe not correct, but I think the audience is wising up to the smart ones. And they aren't beholden. You could say, CNN is better, but some of these streamers aren't beholden to some of the rules or things that can help them crack something if they do it carefully. And for most often they are. I think there's not been a lot of people who've done it improperly. And if they do, they get in trouble. Just like if CNN were or anybody else were, everybody still gets arrested or fined if you make a mistake,
What made you want to pursue this? I mean, I imagine this is a pretty full-time gig, what you do. What made you want to come out to these kinds of scenes?
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't understand YouTube. Doing this kind of work is a real job. It's a heavy-duty job. My family knows it. They're here with me. It's a grind. You got to keep on it, and you have to want to do it. And these people like JLR and others who have been streaming on stuff, I think they really want to help the family. And I think they really want to get to justice, and they want their audience does. That's what's I think really impressive about our streamers is the audiences. They're so invested. They want to be there 24/7. They want to help. They want to buy you a coffee to get you through that next phase. And so it's a community is what it really becomes. And in a case like this, that we are just desperately hoping it doesn't turn cold. And I think the more of us that are here to help raise awareness for it, hopefully we can help keep the momentum and find something.
Is that something you're asking your fans, your followers, your viewers to do? I know there's been a lot of push for information. Hey, call in. The smallest tip could break this case wide open. Is that something you're asking your followers to do as well? If they might know something, call in a tip.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all sharing stuff. Like, I think we're all the streamers are helping each other. Everyone's putting information out, and yeah, we get a lot of tips. Obviously, we vet our tips too. Like, I'll get a lot of really terrible tips, and I know which ones are legit. Or then I can talk to my sources to confirm. But yeah, if you have anything out there, call the FBI, call those parties. But and if we get something serious like that, obviously we would connect as well. Yeah, I think there's also a lot of journalists I think are bridging the gap. Like, I'm a big fan of Brian Enton, who's been out there doing both. Like, he's working, but he's also doing his own, and you can tell he's not interjecting. And I think a lot of us take a lot of that same attitude of we don't want to mess this case up. That's going to be bad for our profession. It's bad for the case. And so we want to just be careful and make sure we're getting as much information out there as possible.
And at first, when we were talking, you were mentioning how scary this is. It takes close to home. You know, it's a woman who's in the public view, Savannah. The mom was missing from her home. Does that make you have a shift in calculus here of, you know, how much do you want to share?
Oh, I've made sure my parents have their Ring doorbell on. Absolutely. I mean, it is really scary. I mean, we talked about it.
And it's not victim blaming. It's just bringing up something that a lot of people have kind of brought up is apparently Nancy's Ring camera or Nest camera, I'm sorry, they weren't paying the subscription for it to be saved like to the cloud or whatever. So that was also something that people were like, that's only like $40 a month. Why wasn't that paid for? So I don't know. I think that it's something not only to kind of remind us to have like the footage, but also that subscription, you know, it's kind of important. And the other thing that was kind of recognized, because Andy from Popcorn Planet here, his parents live in Arizona. So he's from Florida as well as JLR. And he's visiting family and just decided like, okay, well, we're here. Let's send out our drone. Let's go live. They met up today. He was saying that his parents have stated that the cameras at like the stoplights and around the town like don't always work. Like they had them for red light cameras to ticket people, and then the town like deemed that like unconstitutional, or they just like weren't in favor of it. So then they pulled back their surveillance around that area. And there's not a lot of crime at all, Andy was saying. So he just thinks that it wasn't obviously something that was on the Guthrie's radar in that area. You know, her house was millions of dollars. The neighborhood's very nice. We've seen it. JLR has talked to the neighbors. They've talked about it. It's just not like a rundown area. Like even outside of her neighborhood for a while, it's just a really nice area and not a lot of crime takes place. So that was also interesting and noted.
I don't have $1 million, so please don't come after me. But it doesn't matter how much you have. This is a terrifying, heartbreaking case. And, you know, look, I don't think you can stop doing your job and let the fear take over. Then, as they say, the terrorists win. Like, we got to all stand together and to see the support here, to see the flowers, to see the amount of presence here. I feel confident in that.
Good interview. It's a good interview.
So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. I'm looking at X. No updates on X. The current status of the case right now, Nancy Guthrie remains missing and is believed to have been taken against her will. No confirmed suspect, no arrests yet. Investigation continues with forensic lead analysis, surveillance review, and public tip follow-ups. Authorities are not ruling out kidnapping. Motive and precise circumstances remain unknown. So as far as motive, you know, was this something that went like a home invasion or robbery gone wrong? Is this revenge? Like, what are you guys thinking in chat? Because I'm all over the place. And somebody earlier asked, I thought Andy from Popcorn Planet only did Hollywood. Okay, so he said, yeah, that's correct. He said usually he doesn't get into true crime because it's kind of depressing, but if it's celebrity, he said that he is interested. So, because JLR pretty much asked him something along those lines as well. So let me pull up something else that I thought was interesting. So this, did you guys see the chaos from last night? So this was last night. And then all of a sudden we woke up today. He went to the scene and he's like, there's nobody here. There's nothing going on. So this was last night.
Investigates possible crime scene here. Multiple people detained, road blocked, massive amount of people out here gathered. We're talking about Nancy Guthrie, and this is wild. This is wild. It's raining out here. I seen at least 30 FBI vehicles driven by FBI roll into this neighborhood right here. Let me show you at right here. Right here, name of the street, right here. It is wild, and there's so many people out here. Media, spectators out here in the dark. Look at this. This is crazy. Multiple people detained. Where is Nancy Guthrie? See forensic trucks. Jail alarm.
So again, that was last night, like around midnight. We're like, okay, something's happening. Somebody was talking about one of the third people who were detained was at a traffic stop, and like there was some gun violence involved and they like shot themselves or something. And then everyone's like, what? Dolly saw it live. So I have no idea. Did anyone watch Dolly at that point? Because I don't really ever watch him. I've strictly been watching JLR. And then JLR woke up this morning, goes to the scene that he was at last night, and crickets. Literally nobody. No crime scene tape, nothing. And they must have gotten a warrant to get there, obviously, and to detain them. So what led them to that? Are they waiting on information to confirm more evidence, or what is going on? Did they do like a DNA swab, you think? You had it in your ear till like 4 a.m. I know. I was like, if I turn this off, I know I'm going to miss something. And then as soon as I woke up, I checked the update and I'm like, no way. Like, is this really happening? Oh, before we get into that post, because that I'm going to need your guys' help figuring that out. So give me 1 second. I wanted to share. We shared the backpack information. Okay, let's have a little comedic relief. But I don't know. When the sheriff is talking about this possibly taking years, I'm a little worried. Like, instead of just saying, we will have a conclusion to this, or, give us some time, it was like almost like saying, like, don't get your hopes up or don't have too many expectations. This is Nerdy Addict on X. Anyone feel this right here?
Thank you for coming. I have a special announcement. And now, for the main event, a balloon dog for the press. Thank you for coming. I have a special announcement. And now, for the main event, a balloon dog for the press.
Before JLR even shared that picture of the SWAT team and the road blocked off, he was at a totally different location. And he was like, suddenly given information that there was something going on somewhere else. So he went there and he was kind of like perturbed. And he's like, I feel like we're being thrown in different directions, like on purpose. Like everyone's just kind of like, what is happening right now? Like, is the media being shown here? Okay, I watched Dolly. There was a fatal hit and run. 2 cars hit the person. What? The second car didn't run. After 20 minutes streaming, he immediately took it down. Dolly posted this article in his YouTube post. Holy moly. Yeah, everyone was saying like prayers for Dolly, or he's traumatized. And I was like, what is happening? Like, what happened? So there was a fatal hit and run. So it had nothing to do with guns. Oh my, one of the cars stopped, but the other didn't. You were watching when it happened. I watched him live and he was shocked, shouting he had seen it. Oh, but for some reason he ain't been back on and deleted the video. Maybe he's got some PTSD going on right now. Wow. Yeah, all of that stuff happened within minutes of JLR kind of at a spot with another vlogger who he just met out there. No, that's not accurate about JLR, and Dolly is a liar. This is dumb. Out. Okay. You guys know I wait all week to use this on a troll, so it's happening.
So shut up, bitch! Oh my God!
Okay, he's going to give an update. Good. I'm happy that he's going to update. I hope. That's terrible. But yeah, that's fine. See you later. Hey, Marshall Dove. So what was I going to do? Oh yeah, I was going to share something else. So yeah, I saw this today and I'm like, wait, what? We just watched a segment yesterday on our updates of where the sketch came from. And we were all saying like, this isn't helpful because it wasn't official. But look what, and you guys walk this through with me. Look what Court TV put out a day ago. New, a sketch of possible suspect in the Nancy Guthrie case based on the FBI's description was released by a criminal sketch artist, Lois Gibson. Guthrie was last seen being dropped off at our home January 31st and remains missing. What do you think? Well, I think that I missed the part where FBI said that this sketch was based off of that. He left Arizona. He's out. Yeah, I might want to go home after that as well. The only reason why I'm like wondering like where this information is coming from, that sketch was from the FBI description, is here's this statement from FBI. This was days ago, and they're sharing the backpack information. So I'm not going to go through the whole post. This was 2 days ago, the 12th. And it says, blah, 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 increasing the reward, new identity details about the suspect, okay? Through a forensic analysis of the doorbell footage, the suspect is described as a male. Okay, yes, that matches the sketch that woman did. Approximately 5'9" to 5'10". Well, I mean, the sketch of the face doesn't really match that part of the description FBI gave us, with an average build. Also something that doesn't really match the FBI's description. In the video, he's wearing a black, and then they describe the jacket and the backpack. So where in this does it give the description? Hold on. Why did Court TV share that? I'm very confused because I think that sketches matter. And obviously we want the suspect found. So where is Court TV getting a sketch of possible suspect based on the FBI's description? I'm confused. I'm genuinely confused, and I'm trying to find out how to iron this out, because there's also media people that are still reporting that a glove was found inside the home, while other media and law enforcement have stated like, no, they were found outside the home. So again, I'm going to have to play it again. It's less than a minute long, but here's the segment on that sketch and the person who drew it.
A renowned forensic artist in Houston came out of retirement to try to help find Nancy Guthrie. Lois Gibson says she wasn't asked by police, but after seeing the FBI images, she felt she needed to sketch the masked figure in the case. And this is not an official sketch of the suspect, but she says she used features like the eyes and mustache from the FBI's photos. Gibson says she hopes her sketch will help bring Nancy Guthrie home.
Come on. Let's go now.
I don't know. I just feel like that court TV post is not accurate. Like, she said that she made the sketch based off of the mustache and the eyes that from the images that the FBI released. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird that they stated like based off the FBI's description. Because I read you the description, and the description is talking about him being 5'10" to 5'9" to 5'10", medium build. Like, they didn't say anything in that post about facial hair or anything like that. So I don't know. People are seeing the news clips and thinking the FBI released a sketch. Right. And I'm just like, this isn't helping court TV. Like, of course. I'm like, this is confusing me. I think it's very misleading, the sketch. I do too. It's like, how would you know? Again, I'll share with you the FBI's description. 5'9" to 5'10", average build. Nothing is, and they think a male. If they're talking about the images, where are you getting that much hair? Like, where is the sketch person coming up with all that hair and all that? I don't know. Just like, I'm sick of, like, I think we're going around in circles in this case. Speaking of which, let me look for updates on X. People are getting really, like, frustrated. Like, they're pretty much getting, and this is their words, not mine, Nancy Guthrie fatigue. They feel like this is just one big joke. Like, nobody knows what to think. Let's listen to what News Nation is putting out on X. Hold on.
It's not going to take that long. They're going to send the DNA. The sheriff is probably going to send that DNA to that private lab in Florida, which specializes in touch DNA. And they can do a one-to-one comparison with the known DNA that they have and this person to see if it matches. What they cannot do is they don't have the ability to run it through CODIS. So it's going to have to go probably to the FBI lab at that point so that we can keep this lab situation down to a manageable number. And then the FBI or the sheriff's department can run it through CODIS, the National Database for DNA, and then determine if that, will hit with anyone else. But the DNA sample that the FBI is, or that the private lab is in possession of, if they have sent it back to the lab, to the sheriff already, it's already in CODIS. If they haven't, then they're going to have to send it back to the sheriff or to the FBI to get it uploaded into CODIS and then compared.
Maureen, we've all seen the horrifying, frightening photos from the front of the house that the FBI was able to get off the Google Nest camera of the man, covered from head to toe. Do you think, and I've thought a lot about this, do you think someone else involved, and I don't mean just someone else to plan this thing, I mean someone else who was actually at the house that night and also went into the house to kidnap Nancy?
Well, obviously we're not sure, but I would say it's probably likely there was someone driving the car. And the car could have been right there in the driveway. It could have been halfway through the circle driveway. We don't have the entire video. I'm sure the FBI has much more video. Did this person attempt to open the front door here? Did they have a key to the front door? Did they go around to the back door? Do we have that video? There's just a lot of unanswered questions, but for me, it would make a lot more sense if you had at least two people involved in this conspiracy and the other person was driving the vehicle.
Why do you think his backpack is so full, Maureen? It looks stuffed. I mean, what do you think could be in there?
Violent criminals, he's obviously got a proclivity to violence, and that's one of the questions when you're trying to analyze the offender of a situation like this. He's got a proclivity and a predisposition to violence because she was bleeding on the front steps when she left. So there's just no question there. That is an actual fact that we know. So, and he's got that gun on his waistband, but with regard to that backpack, could he have a tarp? Could he have restraints? Could he have tape? Those would be the things I would expect to find in something like that. He could have rope. Who knows? But this is why when municipal law enforcement officers pull people over and they see kits like this in their trunk, or burglary tools or whatever, it gives them probable cause to search or detain or even arrest.
And just real quick, Maureen, there's something I learned about that hasn't been reported yet. We saw a helicopter very low over Nancy's house and in the surrounding area the other day. And I'm told there was something called a signal sniffer on one of the skids of the helicopter, a very, very small box, like less than 7 inches long, that could actually detect Nancy's pacemaker. And again, I have not heard this reported before, but we were able to confirm it. And it just made me think about all the technology that the FBI is likely using now that we don't know about. I mean, is there AI involved? What else do you think other tools they may be using that we just don't know?
They'll be using every tool we have to try to bring Nancy home. With regard to this particular tool, I don't know. But I do know that the pacemaker sends off a very short distance alert or whatever. So they're going to have to get really close. How close were they to the ground?
They were close, Maureen. Yeah, that's what was so interesting when we saw the helicopter. They were so low, and we were all talking about it. Like, what are they doing? Why are they hovering so low in different spots around the yard? Come to find out, they actually had this signal sniffer sent in. Special for this. It's it's like a special piece of equipment that had to be sent in, which it makes sense now why they were hovering so low. Maureen O'Connell, I always appreciate talking to you and your expertise. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Okay, so that came out less than 5 minutes ago on X. Former FBI agent Maureen O'Connell joins Brian Enton. So interesting that they were using the signal sniffer around the property. And again, that was days ago. Nothing has come back. And you know that they're using sonar. So they have that capability where they can see heat and stuff like that, even in recently disturbed dirt. So there's so many things that they're using and nothing has happened. I mean, we're going on 2 weeks. We are on 2 weeks. Looking at more latest. That's everything on X right now as far as updates. To get back to some of the stuff that we know, the family involvement, Savannah Guthrie, her sister and brother have made emotional public pleas for their mother's return, which we've watched. No need to go through those again. Obviously, they're being cooperative. Has anyone seen Savannah's husband? I haven't seen him, because everyone's talking about oh, Tommaso's hiding, Tommaso. And I'm just thinking but I literally, to play devil's advocate, I haven't seen Savannah's husband. And I don't know, just something I've noticed. Let's see what else I can share. Got some stuff, some highlights from the week. We talked about how the jacket, people matched it to a Walmart jacket brand as well. Oh, this was random too. This was the 13th, so yesterday. On X says, someone dressed in an Easter bunny costume and just delivered flowers to Nancy Guthrie's residence. This circus is beyond bizarre. It's they're almost dressed like the rabbit on Alice in Wonderland. So I was like, what the heck? And then they posed for pictures in front of the memorial area with flowers. I'm like, what the heck? I don't know what's going on. This was interesting. So if you guys, the interview room, I've been watching his coverage as well on this case. And he, of course, has Dr. Brucato. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. I might be butchering it, but he's super interesting. And so he kind of gives his opinion from the doctor perspective in this small clip of like what profile and type of suspect he thinks that we're dealing with here. So this was interesting and from this week too. So I wanted to play this for you guys.
4-year-old woman sound asleep in her bed in her home and some guy on her front porch. This guy did not arbitrarily pick that house that night.
Hello, Bob. Good to see
And
you.
say, I wonder if there's an 84-year-old woman in here that I've got my bag here, I've got my gun here, I've got all this dressing on here, that I wonder if she's in there so that I can kidnap her for Bitcoin.
No, I agree 100%. And I think what we have to add Victor, is whoever did this had one of two things going on emotionally. Either this was so practical in the person's mind that they were the equivalent of like they saw themselves almost like the way a hitman operates. It's not personal. It's just business. I quickly dispatch an individual and get what I want. They're out of the way now, right? Or this person, for whatever reason, hated this woman's guts. Because there's something about this story that suggests
Me too.
a total lack of humanity toward this individual. I mean, do you realize what it would take to know in life, even briefly, an 84-year-old woman on a walking device, right, on a cane or whatever, who could barely get 50 yards, a church-going grandmother and whatever, and do this to her? I mean, it's an unbelievable thing. And so you have to imagine a person who can just shut off.
This is an 84-year-old woman sound asleep.
Like we talk sadly about a lot of crimes against children and the depravity and type of person that commits those crimes. I mean, very rarely do we talk about the elderly. And in this situation, why would they? It's one thing we know that they had a gun on them through the footage. So you hold somebody at gunpoint to get control of them. But she can barely walk without her cane or her walker. So to me, it's like this, a lot of things in this just don't make sense. And so then that's where we go to, okay, so then was this a robbery gone wrong? Like what exactly are we dealing with? But yeah, I love listening to Dr. Brucato and Chris. There's something else I saw on X too. And it's like, literally, this is bizarre. So the other day, as you guys know, yesterday was Friday the 13th. JLR and other media sources go to this spot that has like a sign, like bring Nancy home, something like that. And it was on Elm Street. The name of the street was Elm Street, right? So we had Friday the 13th, this sign that everyone was kind of reporting on that the community put up, and it was on Elm Street. And then remember in the beginning of the case where we had people talking about the Silence of the Lambs comparison? Hold on. This was something I saw, but then I'll show you that other thing I'm talking about. Hold on.
Pima County Sheriff's Office. We forgot to check the pool, Jason. Hope you don't mind. We'll be done shortly. Pima County Sheriff's Office. We forgot to check the pool, Jason. Hope you don't mind. We'll be done shortly.
It's just, I mean, people are like, what is going on here? And it's like, yeah, we kind of laugh. We need some comedic relief. But in the real sense, it's like, what? The true actual stuff that we know of as far as evidence collected was the scene had blood found on her front porch and driveway. The forensic testing confirmed the blood was Nancy's. So we can, I saw some people talking about whose it belonged to. Like that was Nancy's blood in those locations. Blood evidence and belongings, her phone, her meds, and her purse were left behind. Suggests that she did not leave voluntarily. And again, we go back to, okay, but she can barely walk without assistance. So what is in the perpetrators' minds of like why this, like what is the motive truly? Very hard to kind of figure out, because the thing is, this is an SOS immediate concern. Nancy is considered a vulnerable adult. She has limited mobility, a pacemaker, and daily medications that she needs for her heart issues. So it's just 2 weeks going on and no movement. I try to stay positive, but it's like the twists and turns in this case, it's unreal. It's absolutely unreal. There was something else. So yeah, you guys heard the Silence of the Lambs comparison with the return my mom kind of talk, the discussion that they did. Maybe I didn't save it. Well, I might have sent it to someone. 1 second. Hold on. And again, there's no updates. Let me just share this again on the screen while I find this. Unfortunately, there's no updates since we've been discussing. Well, I thought I sent it to myself. No. Oh, yeah, I'll show you guys this one. That was ridiculous. Did you guys see the crazy lady that walked up to the crime scene the other day? She walks up. Apparently, she was like irate about the press being there. She threatened to sue people. Her dog licked the crime scene. It's just like, what? And of course, the press, everyone's recording it. Here we go. Hold on. 41 seconds, but yeah, some neighbor.
That's literally where the suspect walked to get to the, you know. I mean, that's literally where the suspect walked to get to the, you know.
Okay, hold on. I can't find that one thing, but you guys know that they did a comparison of the movie Silence of the Lambs. Her plea to get her loved one back was like exactly what Savannah was saying in her plea. So it was like, what the horror movie things that have popped up in this case to me are bizarre. So we have the Silence of the Lambs reference. We had the case on Friday the 13th when those people were detained and then released and all this stuff was going on that amounted to nothing. And then the memorial sign that they have up in the area is on Elm Street. I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Oh, good to see you. Glad you're here. Okay, hold on. See. Oh, wait, what? Okay, yes. Sorry, it's taken me to kind of get this stuff lined up because I'm all over the place. hold on. This is a local to the area. In her perception from being from the area, and this is her TikTok video.
That Nancy Guthrie has not been found yet clearly do not know anything about the law enforcement situation happening in Tucson, Arizona. The Tucson Police Department has been a year behind in processing felony arrests committed not using a firearm. Let the record show, I'm aware that this crime was committed with a firearm, okay? But just stick with me here. We lived in Tucson. We had a brand new truck. We had it parked in front of our house one night in a nice neighborhood, which nice in Tucson, it only gets so nice. I digress. Husband comes out in the morning, truck's gone. That's weird. Where did it go? We're from Nebraska where people don't steal cars. Call the police department. They're like,
I don't know what to tell you. This happens a lot here. It's gone. You're not getting it back. So you need to call your insurance company, process it. They're going to process it like a total loss. Hope you can get a decent amount of money for it.
6 months later, the person who stole our truck was involved in a hit and run accident in a Walmart parking lot. Hit someone's car, and then when they realized they hit someone's car and they didn't have license or registration or insurance, they took off running. Someone at the Walmart in the parking lot recognized them. And when the person who got hit called the police, this person walked up to the person on the phone and was like,
listen, I will stay here with you until the police come to process this report because I can personally identify who the person is that hit you.
1 in a million chance that this happens. The police come to the Walmart, takes them 45 minutes to get there. The witness to the crime is like,
I know who this guy is. He lives straight up the street. I can take you to him.
And the police are like,
okay.
This man pretends to be waking up from a nap. The police come to the door and they're like,
hey, we have an eyewitness saying that you were involved in a hit and run accident down the road. You want to talk to us about that? And
the guy was like,
oh, I couldn't have been involved in a hit and run accident because I was taking a nap. My truck is parked right outside.
And the cops were like,
there is no truck parked outside here because it's in the Walmart parking lot.
The guy goes,
my truck must have been stolen.
Then the cops are like,
okay, so riddle me this. Do you have any paperwork on the truck, like proves that you own it? And
the guy was like,
I bought it from a shop downtown.
And they were like,
what's the shop's name?
And he gave a name of a place that doesn't exist. Here's what I'm trying to get at. The Tucson Police Department had this man on possession of a stolen vehicle, hit and run, driving without a license, driving without registration, and no insurance, a pentuple whammy. They should have been able to arrest him right there. What did they do? They let him take his house key off of the key ring and they let him go. What the heck? When I got the call from the tow lot that said,
hey, we have a car that's registered to you at the tow lot.
I was like, no, you don't, because my car's in Mexico. The police department said like that, it was gone.
Like, no, it's right here. It was involved in a hit and run.
They had every chance to get this man. Did they? No. And so when I called then the police department and I said, listen, the tow lot's saying that this car was involved in a hit and run. What's the police report that you have attached to this car? And I went down and I got the police report printed off. I was like, why was there not an arrest made? They told me,
oh yeah, well, we don't have time to arrest people for that.
I'm like, 5 charges. 5 charges.
Oh yeah, well, we're a year behind on processing felony arrests not involving a firearm. So, he will probably never be arrested or see a court date for this. So just so you know, that's like how we do it here.
Yeah, I couldn't wait to move the fuck out of Tucson. Those of you who are surprised that Nancy Guthrie has not been found yet, clearly.
And I know nothing about the area. So besides watching the live coverage that JLR has been doing and people who live in the area's perspective, like on social medias, I'm like, I don't know. the sheriff's all over the place. That's all I know. And he's getting reamed on social media. So it says news networks. This is just Nancy Guthrie updates on X. News network just bashed citizen journalists on their Nancy Guthrie special. Remember earlier in the stream, I was sharing you guys the behind the scenes CNN interview with Andy from Popcorn Planet that JLR was filming, and he told CNN he wasn't up to the interview today. It says earlier, CNN was interviewing a citizen journalist on scene trying to figure them out, why they're there, but basically asking questions in a belittling way. Networks are jealous and feel threatened. I didn't think she was that belittling, but there was like a little bit of, they always have to chime in and like try to discredit YouTubers, in my opinion. Like say things like, oh, you know, do you think that they spread it's always them trying to say that we spread misinformation when it's always the mainstream media who is spreading misinformation. Of course, that's my opinion. It's just how I feel about it. But I've noticed it in regards to Turtle Boy and JLR and other YouTubers.
My opinion!
So let me see what, I don't think we don't have any live updates at the moment. Nothing new as far as anything. There's nothing, guys. Like, is this going cold? Do you guys think that this case is going to go cold? Hi, Sleepless Sleuth. Good to see you. Oh, yeah. They're always feeding misinformation. I mean, we've seen it. That was another amazing thing about JLR's coverage is he's showing us the perspective on scene, just setting up his tripod. You can see mainstream media come in, you know, with their fancy equipment, set up shop for like 10 minutes, film their segment, and then they're out of there. They didn't even know whose house Nancy's was. Like they were walking around asking people, is this Nancy's house? And then the sheriff had to tell CNN, Jake Tapper, to get off the lawn. Do you know if nearby homes and or phones can turn on Bluetooth and maybe her pacemaker will show up on the list? That's a good question. I know that they're aware that that can connect because they were talking. I remember somebody was talking about it even to like an Apple Watch. So I'm sure that they're going all routes when it comes to like the pacemaker's capabilities of location and pinging in a way, I guess. Let's see. They're sharing pictures on X of like the memorial area that people are bringing yellow flowers to. A lot of people, being honest, just sharing what people are saying on social media. They're wondering why this case gets so much attention, but a lot of the children who go missing, and I'll just add in like minorities, men, boys, young men that go missing don't get equal attention. So yeah, the sign that was on Elm Street that I was talking about says bring her home. And then it has a picture of Nancy and it's very large. Three minutes ago, I can play the audio of this. Hold on, let me just pull it up. This is a local WIS 10. It looks like some interview the sheriff might have done. We heard yesterday that he's done doing pressers right now and that he had interviews set up with news medias already scheduled and he wouldn't be taking any more. Okay, hold on. I'm sure there's going to be ads.
the problem with Granger.
Now, I interviewed.
Don't get too excited. It's only a minute and 36 seconds. And it's titled, "We Will Find Nancy." Arizona Sheriff discusses Guthrie's disappearance, ongoing search efforts.
Sheriff Nanos just a few hours ago about the Reuters report that he's blocking FBI access to key evidence in the investigation. The news agency reported that the FBI asked for physical evidence in the case, including a glove and DNA, to be processed at the FBI's National Crime Lab in Quantico, Virginia. But Nanos has insisted instead on using a private lab in Florida. Now, here's his response.
That conversation took about a minute and a half with 4 or 5 FBI people there and my team there. And they all said, makes sense, Sheriff. Off we went.
Well, let me just ask you then, did the FBI actually ask you to have that glove go to Quantico and that they have a maybe better lab? Or
oh, I don't know that. I don't know that
there
they
was
have
never
a better
a discussion
lab.
that the FBI.
Nobody ever disputed in either lab. They're both great labs. Look, I could show you Triano case. Whose lab was that? You know, there's different, the type of lab had nothing to do with it. It was simply about what makes sense here. Do you want your evidence scattered around the country, or do we just send it all to one place? When they develop those leads, those reports are given to all agencies. That's what makes sense. Let's move on.
The sheriff has maintained that his department has a good relationship with the FBI and they are working well together in the Guthrie investigation. We're following the latest on the search.
So yeah, it seems, I think that because there was nothing to report, this whole like, oh, the sheriff is doing this against what the FBI suggested. I don't know. I feel like that might have been hyped up too. Because like, it seems like they're working. Although I do think that there's probably a communication error going on. There's some communication problems, I think, between the agencies. Hold on, let me plug in my laptop. It's about to die. There's really not much else to report, guys. This is an interesting post on X talking about last night's SWAT and raid and detainment that we believe might have just been another, I don't know, maybe they had a lead. The sheriff is claiming the lead was strictly from the feds and that they were just there to assist them. JLR was on scene. And today when he heard that, he thought that that was kind of odd because when he was there reporting live, the sheriff's department were the ones that were there first. And then all of a sudden he said then like 30 Fed agents and vehicles rolled in after. So it was just kind of, I don't know. That's what he saw from his perspective. And then today it was being reported by the sheriff that this was just a lead that they had and they were assisting. Now, is that because they don't want to look like they have egg on their face after the other detainment led to no arrest? Again, I don't know. The investigation has moving parts, but people do not have faith in this sheriff. So it says FBI seizes Range Rover from parking lot 2 miles from Nancy Guthrie's home. So this was right around this is the exact time I think that raid was going on and those people were being detained. Video shows officers erecting a thin sheet around the trunk of the Range Rover to conceal the investigation. So everyone today was just kind of wondering, like, so what was that about? They took it to the impound yard, and then I don't know if it was ever released. Did anyone hear about the Range Rover being released or anything about that? Because everyone's kind of wondering that still. Yes, exactly. The sheriff was there first from what we were seeing with our own eyes. And plus, remember, it was like hours leading up to the SWAT team deploying. We watched the SWAT vehicle leave the sheriff's office. So we kind of had a tip of like, okay, something's about to happen maybe, but I don't know, maybe it was a red herring, maybe it was distraction. I don't know. anything's on the table. I don't know what to think. So apparently the holster that you can get is at Walmart for $10. Hold on, there's an article. Looks like Fox News put it out today. So it says a $10 Walmart gun holster could help identify suspect in the Nancy Guthrie case. See, this is interesting. So this was at 2:36. I wonder if this is after or before. Maybe that's what inspired JLR to go to Walmart. So I'm curious if this is after or before. I'm just going to pull the suspect's image up so that we can kind of look at this while I read the article. The holster seen in surveillance video from the front steps of the missing mother of Today co-host Savannah. By the way, like I never watched the Today show. Did you guys ever watch it prior to this? May provide key leads to law enforcement, experts said. The holster is cheap, easily distinguished, and only available at a limited number of retail stores. Oh, perfect. So then this should help narrow this down. According to an active duty Miami area police officer who shared his analysis with Fox News Digital in hope it could help investigators find whoever is responsible for the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. The FBI teamed up with Google in the groundbreaking recovery of Guthrie's Nest doorbell camera video last week. So that was the other thing too, is I know they said that since she didn't have things saved to the cloud, that it took time for them to get that Nest footage. But I still think that it was sort of slow release to the public. Like, I don't know. I'm curious how long it actually did take them to recover that video footage. And I still think that as soon as they got that footage, it should have been released to the public. So I don't know. Again, that was just something that I was like, okay, I get that it wasn't saved to a cloud or whatever, and you guys had to go through Nest probably, and computer scientists and engineers or whatever had to find it, but it was still released much later than I think would have been helpful. So I don't know. But investigators were able to recover the video showing a masked and gloved man on Guthrie's porch, where law enforcement later found drops of her blood. Also, do you guys think, this is not in the article, do you guys think it's possible that somebody was in the home waiting for her to get home? She goes inside, and then once the abduction or kidnapping or altercation, something takes place, then they leave out the back door, because there was reports that the back door was wide open. So did they leave out the back door and then remove the Nest camera footage? Like, is there a way that they might have been able to get into the house before she got home and maybe was hiding out and not seen on camera, obviously, because maybe it was through the back? I don't know. Shows a man described as being an average build and height covered from head to toe and wearing a backpack. He also has what appears to be an awkwardly worn holster. The officer who asked not be named told Fox Digital the holster's seemingly light-colored appearance is misleading since it appeared in an infrared recording. The main panel consists of a different material from the piping, he said, but the shape and other details align with a Strategy brand hip holster available at some Walmart stores for $10. So I feel like the cheap backpack, the cheap holster, I don't know. I think maybe the gun was only used or maybe obtained for this one, because other people were saying that that's not even the right holster for that type of gun that he had. That the holster is for a revolver, and that's not what he had. I know, right? I don't know. Maybe they wanted to get rid of the footage anyways, like even though they went in the back. I don't know. Just a thought. I don't know. I've kind of hit a few like dead ends in this case for 2 weeks. Oh my gosh, Pointer Liver, I forgot to bring this up earlier. Thank you so much for 43 months of membership. That is amazing, and I appreciate you, and I love you. Thank you so much for all your support and for being there for the channel and for me. Thank you very, very much. All right, hold on. Yeah, he is so calm. Good point. So maybe he's not like in a hurry. Some altercation didn't happen yet. I see what you're saying. Okay, stupid theory. Let me check some more updates. We're almost at an hour and a half anyways. Like there's just not much going on. So still authorities confirm no arrests have been made in the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. That is the latest. And there's so many trolls on X too that like even people who post things, I have to make sure that they're not just posting misinformation. 2 weeks into the search of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, these images document the intensifying law enforcement efforts to find kidnapped mother. Today's host, Savannah Guthrie. Nothing updated. And then, of course, there's people who have these opinions and theories, and I'm going to read them because this is what the public is thinking. Take from it what you will. Thank you, Ruth Ann. I'm not saying that this reflects my opinion. It says, what if Nancy Guthrie died naturally and they've turned this into a psychological operation to control the narrative and overwhelm the media so the media can't talk about real stuff that's going on? People are so... Thank you, Diva Girl. I appreciate that. People are so kind of fed up with the direction and the way that this case has gone that people are kind of like, what is going on as far as progress in this thing? Do we have any footing? Let's see if there's anything else in my notes I want to run through. FBI has collected thousands of tips. The reward, of course, is $100,000. This was a statement that was made today. Hold on. From the sheriff, besides the video that we played maybe 10 minutes ago. One second, I'll pull this up. Maybe it's an hour from now, he said. Maybe it's weeks or months or years from now, but we won't quit. We're going to find Nancy. We're going to find this guy. Several individuals were detained for questioning, including one man released after a traffic stop. No arrests or named suspects. Hundreds of detectives and agents have been assigned. Roadblock search warrants have been executed, including at a nearby residence. Vehicles, including the Range Rover, were tagged and towed for investigation. So will something progress over the weekend or in early next week? Will something come back? This one has you stumped, I know. You heard 32K tips. Multiple agencies are searching. Pima County Sheriff's Department, FBI, CBP, search and rescue drones, K9 units. The ransom notes. Now, you guys let me know where you stand on the ransom notes. Do you think that they're related? Press 1 if you think they're related. Press 2 if you do not think they're related and that they're just red herrings or opportunists who are trying to throw the investigation. So 1, if you think they're relevant, 2, if they're not. And those on replay, let me know your thoughts also. So it says ransom notes were sent to multiple media outlets. 2 deadlines have passed, demanding payment in Bitcoin. Authorities have not confirmed if they are genuine or related to the suspect. A separate person was charged with sending fake ransom messages to the family, not believed to be connected to Guthrie's disappearance. FBI released video and stills from a doorbell camera and nearby footage showing a masked, armed individual outside her front door in the early morning hours, approximately 1:47 to 2:28 a.m. And we described the guy as 5'9" to 5'10", medium build, carrying that black Ozark Trail backpack. Right. Apparently there's more than one sender. And it's interesting how they've been able to narrow down the fake one already, because people have been arrested for it. So I see what you mean. Like they could be relevant, and some of them are clearly not because people have arrested them for them. So a lot of people are saying too, yeah, nothing is panning out to be true. There's really not that many cases that are like this. There was one that took place years ago, and the woman was found. That was a happy ending. But they weren't asking for Bitcoin and all this random stuff, and the crime scene was closed off. That's the other thing. We're like, why is nothing being taped off? Why are there people trailing through it even days later? It was so bizarre. Then they go back and they take stuff off the roof. It just seemed like there was very much a lack of control at the scene. So then if there's such loose, but then again, there's blood in the driveway and on the porch. So we can't say that the crime scene wasn't there. That there could be 2 crime scenes, right? Someone commented in a chat last night that they wondered when Harvey will send himself another ransom message. Right. Exactly. In fact, that reminds me of something I shared on X. Let's see if I can pull that up. That was funny. And that also reminds me of the video he did the other night for Fox. It was so bizarre. I'm telling you guys, I was trying to explain it last night. He looked so like scripted in his statement to Fox the other night, like about there being turf war between FBI and the sheriff. Like, we've watched Harvey report on other crimes. We've watched him in the Celeste Rivas case, because for some reason TMZ has like access to information nobody else does in that case also. But he just looked, I'll show you guys after this. This is funny. Somebody shared this on X. Hey guys, we just received our 99th email. Hold on. It's Harvey Levin. Hey guys, we just received the 99th email. Here we are at TMZ. People even were saying that the sketch looked like Harvey. I'm like, what the heck? This is too much. Let's see if I can find that interview with Fox. You guys might have seen it. It aired a couple of nights ago. I think it aired the 12th. And I'm like, what, they hand Harvey like a script and said, say this? It was not his like natural self. And I'm sorry, I still can't get over that he's 75 years old. He must be using some HGH. Hold on. Yeah, so this was on Fox the other night. It's titled TMZ Founder, Turf Wars are not uncommon in cases like this. I don't know. There was something off about him. Okay, so it was Hannity. Oh, it's like 6 minutes long. Hold on. Did anyone watch this before I pressed play? It was weird. Like, this isn't like the normal Harvey. 100K views. It's like they handed him a... You like that one, Valerie? Yep. Okay, hold on. Yeah, that the Celeste Rivas, it gives the false impression that things are happening in it, but there's still nothing happening in it. I don't know. I'm starting to think that maybe she was a Hollywood sacrifice. Sorry. In my opinion, they robbed her digitally. They took her banking info or forced her by crypto or transfer money. But my thing is, like, then why didn't they like steal her credit cards? Why is her purse there? Like, if they went in there for money, like, and somebody else pointed it out too, like the backpack, you're not going to be able to rob very much. Like, I guess you could steal some jewelry, but like, what if she just had costume jewelry and nothing of like value? Whoops. But you guys let me know if Harvey seems off here.
TMZ founder Harvey Levin is with us. Okay, there's not a day that goes by that you and TMZ are not actively involved in this case. Two big developments. When you released that video of this guy 5 miles away, similar backpack, it was eerily similar to me. And I'm not sure, and I've not gotten an explanation, and I've made phone calls about it. Why is NBC dismissing this now that apparently they have determined that the man has been cleared in this case? Because it looks like a strange coincidence to me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to embrace or dispute what NBC said. I can only tell you about an hour ago, I called one of my sources at the FBI who was
Like with the eyes closing and like thinking so hard. Like, I'm telling you, this just did not come off as like the natural, normal Harvey, like when he streams like breaking news in his network. It just seemed very much like a script. Hold on.
I called one of my sources at the FBI who was involved in this case, who said that nobody has been cleared in connection with the video. That doesn't mean they're implicated either, but they said they're looking at everything, including this. So I'm getting different information from the FBI. What's interesting, now this video was actually, somebody had posted it on Twitter, and what caught our attention was that the timestamp on the video, Sean, is 1:53 in the morning.
Yes, yes, yes. The helicopter that is able to detect the pacemaker signal. We played that. Yeah, we played that a couple minutes ago. Very interesting, and yet, unfortunately, nothing has stemmed from it, unfortunately. Yeah, doesn't this, hold on. Yeah, just watch him. It's like, what is going on here?
This is the day that Nancy Guthrie was abducted, 1:53 in the morning. We now know from FBI sources that the video that they were able to get from Google showing this man at the doorstep of Nancy Guthrie, the one we've been seeing now for 2 days, that was actually retrieved at 2:12 in the morning. This is after the camera had been disabled, but we're told somehow they were able to get these images at 2, and it was at 2:12. What's interesting is there is 19 minutes between the time that the man in that other video.
Like, doesn't anybody else get the vibe that he's just kind of like on a script right here?
video was seen, and this person walks up to Nancy's door. So that's enough time to drive 5 miles. Now, if you look at that video that was posted on X that we put up on our site, the man is carrying 2 backpacks. I can't tell you if either one of those backpacks matches the backpack that the kidnapper used. There's a similarity with one of them. But bottom line here is the sheriff's department told me about an hour ago, excuse me, the FBI told me about an hour ago that they are still looking at this.
And then he kind of like slips up there. He's saying like, oh, you know, the sheriff's department told me. And then he realizes like, oh, wait, no, not the sheriff. I'm supposed to say FBI. For one, like, I'm kind of confused. All of a sudden, he's a legitimate journalist enough to have like FBI's sources and conversations. Like, why is the FBI? I guess because he's turning over ransom notes that he has communications with them. But besides giving it to the tip line, like, I don't know. To me, it's just kind of weird. And it was sort of weird to me that he accidentally said sheriff at first. And then he realizes that he's got to switch his source to being from the feds. Like, I don't know. I was just getting like very weird vibes from this whole interview. This aired the other night.
It's not been, they haven't determined one way or the other how important this is.
I'm going to get to this issue of disagreement because I've known about this from the beginning, and I've tried not to put a lot of attention or emphasis on it in the hopes that local law enforcement would work more closely with the FBI. But there's been a lot of resistance and a little bit of a power play, I guess, going on. I'm not really sure what's at stake here. But let me go. The guy.
Come to find out, the sheriff is denying that there was any, you know, friction or issues between them sending the DNA to their private lab. I don't know. So it's like, was that just amped up for a story? Like, unfortunately, we have to like question everything nowadays. And thank you so much for becoming a member, Sleepless Sleuth. Appreciate that and welcome.
Guy that sent you the note asking for the one Bitcoin.
Can I just jump in on that for 1 second?
You can.
So then as soon as Hannity mentions like, oh, you know, there's a power struggle between law enforcement, the sheriff's office, and FBI, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like Hannity tries to make the conversation like flow again. And then all of a sudden, like, he's like, wait, can I just say, and then he's going to go into this whole thing about like turf wars, blah, blah. And it just seems to me like this whole thing is just like scripted, this whole like segment, like, I don't know. Yeah. I smell a rat. I don't know what is wrong with this conversation, but it just seems fake to me.
Of course.
You know, I was a reporter for CBS in Los Angeles for many years. And I can tell you, you know, from covering stories involving crime in LA as well as other cities, these turf wars are not uncommon. That the local police departments and sheriff's departments get their feathers ruffled when the FBI comes in. They believe the FBI is bigfooting. The FBI has certain things available to it that local law enforcement doesn't have. But this really does become a turf war. So this is, to me.
And again, we have seen cases where in the evidence of the investigation that we look at, it does seem like, oh yeah, this agency was headed in this direction with leads and theories and where they thought the investigation was going. But then the feds came in and they started saying that actually, no, we think this is a suspect and we're going to go in this direction. And we have seen that. So this absolutely does take place. I just feel like this was just a fake segment about it. Like, I think that there has been communication issues in this case, but I just don't know, like, if media is just grasping at straws here. There was just something very off about Harvey in this interview.
Utterly unsurprising.
I agree. It's happened all the time. It's happened in many cases we've covered on this program over the many years, et cetera. You're right. It's the right term. It's bigfooting, turf war. Everything you're saying is 100% right. But why would the sheriff send the glove to a lab in Florida and not to Quantico? Because that makes no sense to me.
No, I mean, I think, you know, if that's the case, for the very reason we just discussed. What's interesting about this, Sean, is that my law enforcement sources and other people have reported this too, was more than one glove was found in that area a mile or so from the Guthrie house. So if there were 2 gloves found there, and then there's 1 glove here, and the guy has 2 hands, one of these gloves isn't the glove that person was wearing. So I have no idea what glove is inside the house and which glove, if any, which glove was worn by the kidnapper.
You also don't know, Harvey, if the ransom letters that you've been feeding to the media are legit or not either.
So you had more communication with the guy that was asking for 1 Bitcoin in exchange for identifying who the individuals are involved in the abduction. You heard today, I'm not being taken seriously.
Yeah, I mean, Sean, this one really got me. Yesterday, I thought, well, you know, anybody can write an email like this. This one has a different tone. What he's saying is, yeah, he doesn't feel he's been taken seriously. He feels he's been ignored because nothing was deposited into the Bitcoin account. We've been checking that all day. Nothing's been deposited. But he goes on to say that the reason he wants the Bitcoin is because he will become, the way he put it, he'd be labeled a national rat. And that on top of that, he fears a retaliation, and that he needs to lay low, go underground, and he needs money to survive, you know, during that time. And that's why he's asking for this Bitcoin. There are some ominous things in this letter, but he ends it by saying this is his second and last attempt. But he says he's definitive here that he can lead authorities to the kidnapper, and he's very clear on that.
Well,
again, no deposit was made today.
How about an anonymous tip? We can help him out.
And also no confirmation that your ransom notes, Harvey, are even legit. Again, we have to reiterate that.
You can give that tip. The ransom is now much more than a Bitcoin. It's $100,000. Harvey, as always, thank you for being with us. We appreciate the update. Hey, Sean Hannity.
And just like when Ashley Banfield was on Megyn Kelly the other day, she's like, well, our friend Harvey Levin over at TMC. I don't know. I just feel a certain way about Harvey after reading the Epstein email involving him. So right now, as you guys know, CODIS, which is the FBI's national DNA database, it will match the crime scene DNA in this case, like the unknown profile that we've heard about in this Nancy Guthrie case, and it'll match it to convicted offenders and arrestees in other cases. If no hits come back, it means obviously that the suspect is not in the CODIS system, and then the testing will continue. So you're not the only one, Led Zepp, who has said stuff like that. So all opinions welcome here. Everything's on the table because we don't have any arrests. We don't have any person of interest. We don't have anything really. As of 2 minutes ago, people who are on the scene, Sheriff's Department confirms the search resulted in no arrests today. So as of right now. But I don't know, guys. I think we've gone on long enough without anything materializing, unfortunately. I hope that you guys were able to kind of enjoy our discussion and kind of bounce around with theories and go through things. This isn't case, well, it is case related. So there's a meme. Well, I guess it's not a meme. Meme is a picture. There was a viral video that went around a while ago. You guys might have seen it with other things kind of said on the image. Oh, crap. Of course, my computer is like freezing. Okay. The original video was about people arguing about the movie Wicked And if you guys know, Wicked is the prequel to Wizard of Oz. So it's the witches' life before they ever met Dorothy, before they're like old wicked witches. You guys know what Wicked's about, I'm assuming. So this video came from somebody recording somebody arguing about like the origins of all that. So it went viral. Hey, Melly. And then since then, people have just added their own things to it to kind of like go along with like a joke. So I thought this was kind of funny. Me trying to explain to everyone what's going on with the Nancy Guthrie case, since I am now an expert on it, since that's all I've done and watched for the past 2 weeks. And it says me.
Hold on! Hold on! Her sister was a witch, right? And what was her sister? A princess! A wicked witch of the East, bro!
I don't know. Hopefully we get some answers. You know, we need to find out the heart of all this. There's an 84-year-old woman. And Nanos, the sheriff, saying, you know, maybe it's an hour from now. Maybe it's weeks or months or years from now, but we won't quit. You know, well, that's great. You're not going to quit. But I really hope it doesn't take years. You know, I really hope that there's a conclusion to this. And we've been kind of yanked around like, okay, you're detaining people, you're questioning them. We're probably waiting back for more evidence. I don't know. Everyone's on the edge of their seat. Let me check and make sure nothing is streaming as far as updates. There's nothing on X. It's always on X first. And then, of course, I will check JLR's channel. He's getting rest tonight, he stated, like, unless something happens. He only got 3 hours of sleep last night. That whole charade ended it up to be nothing. Why can't we hear the 911 call? Right. And why can't we get, like, a clear indication of, you know, who dropped her off? Do we even know? Like, because I've heard different things. I've heard it was Annie and her husband. I heard it was just Tommaso. There's certain questions in this that I'm like confused why we can't get clear answers on. And of course, the main one is, where is Nancy? You know, somebody. So it says, maybe it's weeks or months or years from now, but we won't quit. Nanos added that he was exhausted by the search. Saturday marks 2 weeks since Nancy, the mother of NBC Today host Savannah, was last seen at her Tucson. I think yesterday it said Tuscan home. Tucson home. It's exhausting, these ups and downs. You think? Nano said, but we will keep moving forward. He added, we're going to find Nancy. We're going to find this guy. Yeah, it is exhausting with the ups and downs. And, you know, we send our prayers to Nancy's family, to Nancy herself, and for law enforcement, because they need, I think they're going to need some prayers. They need answers and direction. Maybe that's all they're looking for, some clarity on things. So we'll pray for that as well. But yeah, that's it, guys. That's all I have for you. Melly, are you going live? Johnny, are you going live? If you guys are going live, let the chat know while I grab my little outro video. I'm hoping to give you guys some good updates tomorrow. So we'll hope for that. Same place, same time, pretty much.